Hey everybody, today we have a Troy Bilt 4-cycle TB52 5C2. It's a 2008 model. This one right now happens to have the blower attachment on it, the TB blower attachment. And as you see here, you can take it apart here and you can put different attachments on, a weed eater head, a trimmer head, and this is a 4-cycle engine. And what's happening with this one is you start it up, it stalls. You start it up, it stalls. So we were going to try to rebuild the carburetor on it, but I haven't had very good luck with rebuilding carburetors on weed eaters. So we just went ahead and went on the internet and we bought this kit that comes with a brand new carburetor, 2 primer bulbs, 3 gaskets, a spark plug, a fuel filter, another type of fuel filter with some fuel line, and a new spark plug. Of course, the spark plug doesn't fit it. It's an LT7 spark plug. Talk about bootleg. Chinese bootleg spark plug, which I don't think we're going to be using in anything. The gas cap on this thing, I don't know if I can get it in there and show you that the
rubber's all shriveled up.
Yeah, the rubber's all shriveled up and messed up, but luckily we found another gas cap with a good O-ring that fits right on. The only thing different about it is this one says max 10% ethanol. It doesn't say anything about, premix or anything, so nobody will get confused. So since this is a 4-cycle engine, this has motor oil in the crankcase, and that is how you check it or drain it. Both. So how do you check it?
Okay, well, since this is at an angle, you have to kind of
level this out,
level this out, and then you open this up.
And as long as the oil is right there.
Yeah, as long as it's touching the threads or near the threads, it's full. Yeah,
and it's full out, leaking all over my hands. Did you already change the oil?
No, I just put some.
Okay.
It was because it was low.
Okay. Well,
right,
obviously it wasn't that low. Alrighty. Well, we are going to get my hand cleaned off, and we're going to start taking the carburetor off. We're going to replace the carburetor. We're also going to replace the fuel lines, and we're going to clean the inside of the tank out. You can see in there, there's a bunch of dirt in the tank. So let me get my hands cleaned off and we will come back. Yep. All right, what we did is we put the weed eater / blower into our vise. We cut a piece of floor matting so we wouldn't damage the handle, and it's still a little wonky, but it's good enough. So we want to get the gas tank off also. So there are 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 screws.
There's that one that I took off.
That hold this back plate on, which is just a cover. So we pull this back cover off, and now the fuel tank just slides out. Okay, but before we do anything more, we have a green fuel line that runs from the carburetor into the fuel tank, and I can see in there that that's the return line. This tan line hooks to the carburetor here right above the primer bulb, runs into the tank, and that is the fuel inlet because the filter's on it in there. So now that we know that, we can go ahead and we're going to replace the fuel lines too. We need a pair of needle nose. So let's see, and we're going to need a screwdriver to pop this air cleaner down. So we're going to get a pair of needle nose and we're going to pull off the fuel lines. Here, go ahead and pull off the fuel lines.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. See, they're
just broke.
It just, that's fine. Actually, that's good. Just go ahead and rip that off there. Rip them off. Because now we know where they go. And there goes the tank. So
Rubber grommet right there.
Rubber grommet. Okay, one of the rubber grommets fell off the tank that go here that help insulate the tank. There should also be a rubber grommet in there, but I guess there is not one.
I think it was.
No, it's there. It's there. It's there. All right, so we're going to take this tank apart and clean it out real good and replace the fuel lines. So let's come on over here. Why don't we go ahead and get the air cleaner assembly out? You need a screwdriver because you need a. How do you get this air cleaner assembly out?
This one's kind of tricky. You have to ram
You have to push up on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it kicks out.
And it kicks out like that.
Okay, as you can see, it almost looks like somebody has been trying to use a screwdriver to get it disconnected here when that's almost the hinge. Okay, so now the next step is oh, that air filter looks terrible.
Yeah, I got one.
We have one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna cut up one.
Okay, and here's something else, is see how this has this very big gasket on it? The reason why this has a big gasket on it is because the flywheel has a fan on it. The fan blows air across the cylinder. So this helps keep the airflow around the cylinder instead of just blowing out. So we're gonna try to be very careful taking this apart so we don't rip this gasket. So G Junior is going to start taking the 2 screws out here. Go ahead. Oh, you're not going to use a Torx, you're just going to use a Phillips. These are multi-use screws. You can either use a flathead or you can use a Torx.
There's some pretty long screws.
Yeah, they're pretty long screws because they go through an insulator before they go into the cylinder head. So there's are the 2 screws. So now the air cleaner should come off. Now there's another line here.
That's the blow-by tube.
Blow-by tube for the crankcase because this is a 4-cycle engine. Go ahead and here, hold the camera. It's okay, hold the camera. We'll just go ahead, and we don't want to destroy this line, so you grab it here and there. Now that's off. All right, you can see here, here's the throttle that goes up to the carburetor. So the carburetor should be loose, but of course it broke free from the wrong spot. But the gasket didn't rip. That's good. Let's see if we can get this thing off without destroying the gasket.
Looks like it's stuck on.
It is stuck on pretty good. Why couldn't it be stuck the other way? Oh, okay. Look, we just got a little bit here, which that's not going to affect anything. The sealing is really got to be around this area, which is good. So now that we got the carburetor down, we just have to unhook the linkage. It just pushes in and turns. So just remember, fuel line's up, it pushes in and turns. All right, so there's the old carburetor. So let's take it over here to the new carburetor. And let's match it up and see if it looks like the same. Well, this one here, it's got an O-ring on it.
That one's stuck on.
This one doesn't. Oh, is the O-ring there?
Yeah,
or I don't think so. I think it's just a gasket.
Nope, it's missing.
Hold on, I don't see. I think maybe there's 2 styles. This one here, let me look. Is there an O-ring? There's no O-ring in there.
Yeah,
so
maybe
yeah,
it
doesn't. The original one doesn't have it.
My Troy Bilt's got one. It's got a gasket on it.
Okay, well this one doesn't. So we don't need the O-ring. So let's look at everything else. We have the fuel line, the primer bulb, the bolts. Let's flip this up.
The only thing I'm worried about is the throttle mechanism.
Oh, you're right. The throttle's different. Well, actually, no. It's because. Okay, so this one's got the slide, and the one that we need has the hole. But it looks like there's just a E-clip. There's just an E-clip. So we need a pocket screwdriver. Do we have a pocket screwdriver here handy? Pocket screwdriver. Let me go see if I can get a small screwdriver.
Here's one.
Okay, I have found a small pocket screwdriver, but I think it might be a little bit too big. So there's an E-clip in there. So let's see, can we just open it up? And there goes the E-clip. Now the hole is really big.
Yeah.
What to do, what to do. All right, well, let's look at the back side here. That all looks the same. The hole's in the same place and everything. Let me set this stuff. We might have to modify this to make that slide work. All right, we're going to figure out what we need to do, and we'll come right back. All right, well, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to use this piece, and I've already tried it to make sure it's gonna work. See how it's got a big open end there and a small end? Well, if we take this and just slide it in there like so, it's gonna be fine. So we're just gonna go ahead and go like this for now. I don't wanna cut the tang off yet, because I want to make sure it's not going to get caught under anything. So I'm not going to cut the tang off yet. So we'll go ahead and get this back up here. And yeah, see, that seems to be working okay. And we'll go ahead and get the carburetor bolted on. And also too, while we were looking at it, that O-ring went here. Well, the O-ring got stuck in this part. So there is an O-ring on this, but it's not a big deal. All right, we're going to get this back together, which is putting this on and the bolts in. And then we're going to clean the tank out. Okay, I started taking the fuel lines out of the tank and cleaning the tank up. This line here just fits in the back hole and slides out. Well, when I started pulling this line out, see this white stuff on this fuel line? It's all this white stuff came out of the tank that's going to clog up the line. And then when I reached in there, this line, look, it's just crumbling bad. So I'm glad that, you know, when you're putting a new carburetor on, you should always replace all the fuel lines. So we're going to get some lacquer thinner or some paint thinner or some gum cutter, or I have alcohol, whatever I have here at the house. I'm going to go in there. You can see right there in this corner, there's a lot of stuff sitting there that we got to get out of there.
Might do deeper groove than that, just saying.
Maybe. All right, well, we got the gas tank all cleaned. We used a little Awesome Clean and some water, hot water, and rinsed it out inside. It looks really good now. So now we're going to start putting the fuel lines in. So first thing what I did is I took a piece of fuel line, and luckily we had the old fuel line to know how long to make the fuel line. So we made this fuel line the same length as the old fuel line, and I cut an angle on it so we can get it down into the hole. And then you just start squeezing it and feeding it. Sometimes it helps if you put just a little bit of soap on it, and it will make it slide in better. Once it gets in there far enough.
Yeah, sometimes these things can be tricky.
Oh yeah, they can be hard. We have a pair
of hemostats,
of angled hemostats, which I can go in, which I have a grasp on it, and now I can just pull it in. Let it loose. Is that enough? Yeah, it should be enough. So then I'm going to cut the angle part off of this one, and we're going to put a new fuel filter on it.
You want to use that one?
Yeah, let's see. How heavy is this one?
I might have another one of those. I have to look.
I think we'll just use this one. Actually, I don't think we're going to be able to use this one because the end is too big. How big is this?
Looks pretty big.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than this. Oh, there we, whoops, wrong end. Let me pull this through. It's gonna go. It's gonna go. Let me pull this out a little bit more. There we go. I'm gonna put the hemostats on there. Come here, you. Okay. There we go.
Excellent.
Excellent. So then, now what I have to figure out is that line was only in this far. So I figure I'm going to have to pull half of that back out.
Actually, that, let me see.
That's about where it was, wasn't it?
I have to go in maybe just a little bit.
Go in, back in?
Yeah, because the tank sits like this, and so I think that'd be pretty good.
I don't know, you know, we don't know if this tank was
serviced before.
Serviced before and the line broke off.
I seriously doubt it.
So anyway, I'm going to leave it right about there. I think I have enough. Now with the return, same thing. I just cut a little notch in it, and it doesn't matter about this one.
How far it goes in.
Well, how far it goes in. So we're going to spray a little soap on it. And just go ahead and feed that in. But we know that it was only in an inch and a half. So I'm going to make sure it's in about an inch and a half. Okay. Put the two rubber insulators back on. Take it over to the tank. Now, before we do anything else, before we hook those up, let's go ahead and we're going to get the back cover back on. And get the back cover back on, and then we'll hook up the fuel lines, because maybe we can feed some more of that one fuel line in there. Here, go ahead and get the back cover. Got it? Go ahead and put it on. So, this is the return, goes here.
It's just worn.
Yeah, they're worn from vibration.
So I got deep. Oh wait a minute, I think I remember what these.
Oh wait a minute. Let me see them again. Let me see them.
They're oil fouled.
Well, yeah, but let me see the other two. Yeah, see, these are sheet metal screws, and then these are, I mean, those are like wood screws, and these are like sheet metal screws. So now you need to figure out. Okay, well, the wood screw is going to go where the plastic is, so that goes there. These three in my hand,
they went in the bottom because they were oil fouled.
Yeah, they go here because these are machine screws. So you always have to be sure that you look at your screws when you're taking them out, because they might be different. So I know the machine screws are going to thread into a metal piece most likely, and the wood-looking type screws are going to screw into just the plastic. All right, let's get this on, and we'll come back. All right, we got the back plastic cover back on. These were machine head screws, and then these were like plastic wood screws that go here, here, and here. So you always got to pay attention where your screws come out. So then this is the return line goes here. Fuel inlet goes here. That's all in. We have the fuel line in. Almost got some more dirt in the carburetor. The carburetor's pretty dry. We still have to put the... Do you have a piece of air cleaner for this? Because this is really, really...
I got to steal it off the lawn chief, because I finally got the right air filter for the lawn chief.
Well, let's just leave this off for now.
I don't think there's anything in there.
Well, no, let's go get a piece. I don't want to run it without... This air filter is really nasty here and oil soaked. We're going to put a filter in it before we run it. So let us get a filter. We'll fill it up with gas. Next time you see us, we'll be getting ready to start this thing up. All right, we went ahead and got a brand new air filter from a Briggs & Stratton mower and cut it to fit, because this was the wrong one. This is a square one that we bought by mistake when we needed the pointed one. So I don't feel bad about cutting it. We're full of fuel. Let's go ahead and hit the primer bulb a few times. Up, yep, we already have fuel in. I saw it go in through the fuel tank. Fuel line, I mean, and it's going in and back out. So that is hooked up properly. We have the air filter cover. So on this one here, like I said, you hook it up top and then you push it until it clicks.
Got to use your fist. You have to kind of...
There you go. Alrighty, so we're ready to try to fire this thing up. We are going to get it out of the vise, or get it in the front yard, and we'll try it. We'll be back. All right, we have it primed. We have the choke on. is this one of those switches that always falls back? Yep, so it should be on. Go ahead. Wow, how many pulls? 2 or 3? 2 or 3. 2 or 3. And also too, I noticed on this carburetor here, it actually has an adjustment screw right there where the other carburetor did not.
Something's rattling.
It's probably the flywheel. Just go ahead and give it a little bit of gas to see. The on and off switch isn't working, so we had to choke it to cut it off. But the people were complaining about it not running because of a bad carburetor. So instead of rebuilding the carburetor, we bought a carburetor for it, replaced it, replaced the fuel lines, cleaned the fuel tank out. We're going to change the oil in it. And next thing, I guess, we don't have a switch for it, but obviously the switch is either unplugged or the switch is bad. Here, let me see. Here, let's go, and that's choke. That's choke. Okay, go ahead and see if it starts back up. I think they probably know about that. So there you have it. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. That's how you put a carburetor on one of these 4-cycle
Troy Bilt.
Troy Bilt.
This is almost the same engine as my 4-stroke Troy Bilt that I have. I have a 4-stroke blower. It's pretty much
same
concept.
Yep. All right, everybody, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. You can always do that right there in that corner. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the videos. Please give me a thumbs down if you don't like the video. Please like and share. All right, bonus footage time. So I noticed I was able to pry the switch out, and the switch does not work. So the wires are connected, but if you ground the two connections, the weed eater shuts off like it's supposed to. This switch is bad, so we need a switch. G Junior says he might have a switch. If he does, we'll put the new switch in, and it's a used switch, but it's good, so we'll do that. All right, everybody, thanks for watching the bonus footage.